In this video I'm summarizing the construction of the most recent building added to the Glacier module. One of the walls of the structure has been 3D printed a while ago. So let's see how that worked out. Originally I had different plans for this spot and I had cut out a part of the module top to save weight. Fortunately I still had the piece lying around so I could glue it back in. After closing the hole in the module top, I glued the base in place. I had planned to use 2mm thick styrene, but somehow I used 1.5mm styrene instead and had to add another layer of 0.5mm styrene to match the road height on the neighboring segment. I had found a building with an interesting decoration on one of the walls in Google Street View. I'll put a link to the location in the description. The first print used the cheaper versatile plastic option from Shapeways, but I felt the print didn't quite turn out crisp enough for N-scale modeling, so I ordered another print in fine detail plastic, which turned out a lot better. I also had the doors for the loading docks printed in the required size. I didn't keep enough distance on the sprues, so the print ended up with some of the supporting wax on the parts. This can be cleaned up quite easily with an old toothbrush and warm water, however. The fine detail plastic isn't easy to glue. Small parts can be attached with CA glue just fine, but the wall is a pretty large piece and also was a bit warped. I used a piece of 1.5mm styrene as support and also as a way to glue the sidewall to the other pieces of the structure with regular plastic cement. I tried sandwiching the printed part and the styrene support with a thin layer of contact cement as instructed by the manufacturer, but even though I had sanded the pieces before gluing, I didn't get a good bond. So I had to separate the pieces and try again. This time I didn't let the glue air out, but put the two pieces together right away and clamped them between two pieces of plywood. I decided to simply let the excess glue ooze out between the pieces and deal with the cleanup later. After 3 days, the glue was supposed to have reached its final strength, so I removed the clamps. Getting the wall piece off the plywood was a bit difficult, but with a bit of patience I was able to pry it away without damage. The bond seemed a lot better this time, so I carefully started cleaning up the glue from the edges with a sharp hobby knife. The end walls were cut from regular board and batten styrene sheets, and the remaining construction was pretty straightforward. I added a long strip of styrene along the lower edge of the sidewall to make sure that it was properly straight to avoid issues later when it would sit on the base sheet. Then I glued the loading doors in place with CA glue and fixed a little bit of damage at the door cutouts with Tamiya plastic putty. After that, I shaved off the outermost corrugation at the corners of the end walls to prepare them for the trim. When all the walls were done, I started gluing the roof halves and added the trim for the ridge and also added small styrene blocks to make sure the wall will follow the edge of the roof when the structure is assembled. I made the roof ridge from 1mm styrene strips and used 1.5mm styrene angles as trim for the roof ends and building corners. After cutting down the sidewall of the module to the appropriate height, I test fitted all the parts and then added the roll-up door made from a piece of V-groove sheet styrene. After gluing the mounting bolts to the structure, I applied 2 layers of Vallejo primer, allowing the first layer to dry overnight before applying the second layer. After the primer was applied, the details on the printed wall were properly visible for the first time. Unfortunately, I noted some damage that I couldn't see before. After reviewing all the footage, the damage didn't seem to be there before I had laminated the printed part to the styrene support, so maybe clamping these parts between the pieces of plywood is not the best course of action. I painted the roof with a mix of Tamiya flat white with a little bit of sky grey, while the walls were painted with a mix of flat white, XF53 neutral grey and buff. Both mixes were mostly flat white with very little of the other colors added until I liked the color. After the base colors had dried, I glued the wall section and roof in place in the spot where the structure would be sitting on the layout. This way the structure can adapt to imperfections on the module. Then I hand painted the decorations with a mix of XF8 flat blue and neutral grey. While painting, I removed the blue paint mix using a brush damped with Tamiya thinner to remove the paint in some areas and distressing the paint in others to hide the brush marks and giving it a faded look. After installing the exterior lights, I weathered the structure with pan pastels. A final layer of Tamiya clear later, the model was ready to go onto the module. I have listed all the used colors in the description below. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. See you next time.